I've lived in New York for 10 years. You know what that means? I'm a real New Yorker. Hi friends, if you're new here, my name is Katharine Quinn. I am a 30-something living in New York City, and I work on Broadway. Last year I worked on How to Dance in Ohio and Shucked. This year I am working on The Great Gatsby and who knows what else. It's a crazy life, it's a great journey. I've got barrels of vlogs talking all about it, you can see up here. But in today's video, we're gonna celebrate the fact that I am a real New Yorker. You can applaud, it's okay. Yeah. There's an old adage that once you've lived in New York City for 10 years, you can call yourself a real New Yorker, which was very annoying to me the first 9 years that I was here. But now that it's been 10 years, it makes me feel special and nice and triumphant. Because if you lived in New York for any period of time, you know it is a bit of a feat. Listen, getting through any part of adulthood is a feat, but 10 years in New York does feel like a triumph. I'm gonna talk about what I have learned and honestly, what I wish I had known sooner from my 10 years living in New York City. Because if you are somebody who is curious about moving to New York, if you're an artist who at any age is wondering, do I want to do that? If you are in college or high school thinking this might be something that I want to do, I might want to be an artist in New York City, I would love to tell you how it's actually gone for me. It may not be how it goes for you, but you can use this as research. Okay, let's dig into it. I came to New York with basically $3, 2 bags, 1 me. Clip.
$3, 2 bags.
As a result of this, I was very broke and needed roommates. I only started living by myself 3 years ago and I cherish it and never wanted to change. 4 years ago? Maybe 4 years. At any rate, it's taken a long time for me to get there. I have always had roommates. I didn't have like the friends experience the first 5 to 7 years in the city, but I didn't not have the friends experience. There were not 6 of us in a ridiculously affordable apartment in a hip part of town. There were, however, 4 to 6 of us in my 4-bedroom walk-up in Washington Heights for 5 to 7 years. And some of them I never want to see ever again. And some of them are my best friends. So listen, roommates are tough, roommates are hard, but also they can be some of the best people in the world and you're gonna learn so much. And it's gonna make you more grateful for when you live by yourself. We're gonna talk about dogs in New York City real quick. Dogs are so much damn work, but honestly, they make New York City life incredible, and that was part of my New York fantasy, having grown up watching You've Got Mail and seeing Brinkley, the dog that's the size of an inner tube. We can put a clip from that here.
Brinkley!
Somewhere.
They're the best. I mean, listen, when you live in New York City and you have to take your dog out, you've got to go down flights of stairs and like, depending on how safe it is in the world, maybe put on a mask and put on your coat and put on your shoes and put on a bra and put on your clothes and go outside and try to get that dog to pee or poop on the sidewalk because there's not enough grass. And sometimes it's really cold and often it's really windy and you're just out there in the elements and your dog might get sick at 3 a.m. in the morning, but too bad, you're out in a New York City street in the cold at 3 a.m. Whereas in suburbia, if you have a backyard, you're just like, oh, good job. However, New York City dog parks are the best. I have the largest one in Manhattan, like a 20-minute walk from my apartment, 15-20 minute walk. It is beautiful and large and wonderful. It is one of my happiest places, Feeny's happiest places. There's nothing like having a dog in the city. I don't know why. It's so different because my dog goes with me everywhere in New York in a way that I feel like he couldn't elsewhere. When I'm visiting a friend, we're gonna go for a walk in my neighborhood with my dog. We're gonna go eat outside with my dog. He's my buddy. If you read The Golden Compass, I always think about the demon or daemon, like your heart outside of your body. Basically, it's like what people say about children, except that Feeny is my child. Here's Feeny. He's perfect. I absolutely recommend it. It is very expensive. It's also very difficult, but it's the best. But make sure you train your dog because untrained dogs in New York are the literal worst. They have to be better trained in New York than they would have to be anywhere else in the world, just because there's never not stimulus coming at you. Stimuli. This is just like a practical one, just so that you know, in case you want to move to the city, or if you're in the city, you can empathize with this. Life is too short for subways with elevators. Now, if you need them for accessibility reasons, obviously that is what they are for. If you have an alternative, those elevators, that is like the source, that is where my anxiety began. That's literally, I think, where my adult anxiety began. Those doors shut and you are in, it feels like it's like a freight elevator with like a bajillion people sandwiched, hot. It just feels like you land and then like your life passes you by and those doors are never gonna open. And then when you do, you can't believe that you're still alive. Pro tip from a real New Yorker. Sometimes the Uber is worth it. It definitely is if it's cold. Otherwise, think twice. You think it's gonna save you time? It probably won't. If you're moving to New York, just skip the Uber. The train is probably gonna be faster. If it's the weekend, that's a different story. Local trains change things. But most of the time, that Uber is just gonna be really expensive, make you car sick, and cost you a lot of money. So use the train. This is specific to my non-ec girlies, my non-ec kids. Non-ec life is rough and has reportedly not gotten more civilized, so just be nice to your non-equity friends. If you aren't a theater person, Actors Equity is the actors union. Before you join the actors union, or if you choose not to join the actors union, you are non-equity. These humans get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m. in the morning, go down, put their name on a list, and hope to maybe, possibly get 10 seconds in front of somebody who will probably not give them a job. That's actually how it goes. And they do this over and over and over again, sometimes for years. I did it for years. It's hell. Be nice to your non-ec friends. Just as a disclaimer, like as a note, it's 2024. We need to treat people more humanely. Like we can't, that's not safe. It's not kind. I don't know what the latest is about the non-ec girls who like wanted to like campaign for more civilized audition practices. I understand that that feels like they're unionizing. They're not. It's not wrong for them to want better protocol before they join the union as a future member. Anyway, work smarter, not harder. This was just like a financial one for me. My life changed completely when I was able to move to fee-based instead of hourly work. Hourly work, my babysitting job, retail, restaurant, there's nothing wrong with it. But when I was able to divorce my work from my time and like just be able to output at my own pace, and that's the thing that made me money with voiceovers, with video work, with whatever my like remote side hustle is, that was the key to like financial comfort and stability in the city. I'm gonna throw that out there. I have like slowly started assembling a team, and I have somebody who's working as my admin assistant. She's doing a weekly fee that's like based on a number of hours. That's like a guarantee that it's that amount every single week. You want the fee. You don't want the hours. You just want the, whether or not it is less or she arrives at that hour mark, she's not expected to do more. At that hour mark, that is the amount. I just wish that I had known that sooner. If you are in theater in New York City, prepare to work out of town more than you were in town. This is not everyone's journey. I have friends who were like, I'm gonna book Broadway immediately, and they did. Or I have friends who were like, I'm not gonna work out of town, I'm just gonna work on Broadway, and they did. I also have friends who were like, I'm only gonna work on Broadway, and they didn't book anything. But I also, you know, like you just don't know what your journey is gonna be. For me, I was out of town all the time. I loved it. I've been to all 50 states, and that is largely because I have done a non-union tour and I have performed in regional theaters in every corner of the country. Like someone will be like, I'm from Illinois, and I'll be like, cool, what part? And they'll be like, you've never heard of it. And I'll be like, what, a bet? Because I probably did a dinner theater gig somewhere near your house. Anyway, fun times. I loved working out of town, especially early in New York, because New York is a bitch, especially when you're broke. And I was. So going out of town was like paradise. Plus, I didn't like my college experience in my early contract days. Like theater contracts were like the choices I made, the fun I had. That was my college experience. So anyway, it was a great time. 10 out of 10 recommend. Your first year in New York City sucks, period. It's gonna suck. It's unavoidable. It's gonna suck. It's just gonna be hard. Sorry. But while you're here the first year, know that I can't guarantee it won't get worse because I don't know what's gonna happen in your life. New York will not become harder to you, ever, than your first year here. The learning curve is horrible. Even if you've visited a million times, it just sucks. Starting your life here is hard. But then once you get over it, it's like the most rewarding and best life ever. And I will always have a home in New York. Always. It will always be home. I hated New York City until I had money. I hate to say that, and it is just true. And it changed my whole entire life. When I was working paycheck to paycheck, I found the city basically impossible. Full of promise and opportunity, but it felt like I couldn't have it. I have a lot of friends, artist friends, who came from money, and I didn't realize that until a year into being in the city or something. I don't know. And I feel like I'm still learning it. I'm like, how did that person get that opportunity so young? And it's like, oh, their so-and-so works in so-and-so, or their parents are incredibly well off and they're footing their rent or part of their rent. That was not my experience. And I'm grateful for it because I've had to learn, be very, 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 very resourceful and scrappy. I'm jealous, and it would have made things easier. I think ultimately it's probably for the best. I'm in a weird situation financially now. I'll link my 2024 goals up here. My businesses do well, and I'm definitely better off than I was initially in the city. We're working on some credit card debt. You know what I'm saying? It happens to the best of us. I renovated a house. I was just really ambitious with all of that. But anyway, it's doable. It's manageable. It's fine. But like the way that I moved through the city at 34 versus 24, night and day, night and day. If you can have any sort of financial comfort, it will change your life. It will make you less exhausted. It will make you happier. I'm sorry, money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy you foundational needs and like can afford you to like not worry about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like the bottom of the pyramid, you know? I am a lifelong New Yorker and I always will be. I will always have a home here, even if I spend part of the year, if I'm a snowbird, or I don't know what's gonna happen in my life, but I will always, always, always have a home in New York. As you age, people leave. And that can happen anywhere, but it really happens in New York because unless you are young or wealthy, it is a hard place to live. It's a really hard place to live. The pandemic really accelerated that for my age demographic. I turned 30 and the pandemic happened and it was like mass exodus. I mean, people left. They were just like, this is way too hard and life is short and bye. And I hear that and respect it. To that end, I've been lucky that some of my dearest friends have stayed, and also the internet makes it easy for you to stay in touch with your people. I don't know, I don't feel lonely in New York. I did when I was first in New York. I would say it took me 3 or 4 years to feel like I had my built-in community, but like the last 3 or 4 years, so like the second half of my decade in New York has just felt like solid community. I love my people. Best. Run your own race. I wish I had paid attention to this more when I was younger. I did an okay job running side hustles and doing my thing when people were in the rat race. Reading from these notes here. Just listen to and learn how you do your best work, i.e. open calls were my nightmare, even though I did book from a few, and building relationships was the key for me. Find how you do your best work and then capitalize on that. That's all that means. Like, comparison is the thief of joy, and also what works for someone else is not going to be what works for you, and what works for you is not going to be what works for someone else. I can't believe what my life is. I can't believe it. And not in a like, I am actually living a life beyond my child self's wildest dreams. I'm so grateful, and there's no way I could have anticipated this path. No way. When your friends are booking Broadway, when your friends are finding success in New York, when your friends are financially crushing it in New York, try to stay in your own lane. Try to run your own race. It is so hard. It is so hard. And also, I'm here recognizing that like this city is a roller coaster, not a ladder, and like I will have more hard times in the city for sure. Try to do your own thing. Try to run your own race. The flip side of this is New York City is the best. It is the best. It is the greatest city in the world. Insert Hamilton. I don't want to live anywhere else. You have access to the best culture, the best food, the best entertainment. It is like some of the most beautiful parks, the best views. It has everything. It's an amazing place to live. And I'm so grateful to be there. And I'm so grateful I stuck it out. And I'm honestly kind of surprised I did. I think the pandemic was also sort of my reckoning of being like, is this forever? Is this for now? And all things for a reason, I bought my apartment in the city and I closed on it 6 weeks before shutdown. So that was like, oh boy, okie dokie. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be like locked into a place in the city. It's the best, especially because rent's gotten so crazy and I got a good deal on my place. But like also that was very lucky. All this goes to say, I just wanted to share with you my experience living in the city, a few of the things that I wish I could have told my young artist self moving to the city at 24. And if you have questions about life in New York as an artist or not, moving to the city at any age, leave a comment down below. I love engaging in discussion. If you enjoyed this video, I invite you to follow me on TikTok and Instagram at It's Katharine Quinn. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. It is the surest way to let the YouTube algorithm know what wonderful people to push this video out to, people like yourself. I so appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about New York and your experience in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.